Good fun, man. And we are live. Hey, everybody, it's Spider here once again. The Fight Card Podcast, of course, coming to you from San Antonio, Texas, with my guest, of course. I don't want to shop up your name, of course, brother, but the Viking, bro, Corpus Christi, man.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for jumping on this. I know you got a fight coming up, and I found it interesting for a few reasons, bro. For one, you're going to be making your amateur MMA debut, and it just so happens to be the promotion's debut promotion. So I was like, well, man, you know what? It's both you guys don't know what to expect, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's real exciting to be able to jump on with this new promotion and kind of kick things off for them for the beginning of the year, and also kick off my MMA career. And it feels good. It feels like a lot of good energy so far. So
No, no, for sure, man. And of course, I asked you earlier about how you pronounce your name, bro, and I mean your last name, Coscia. I mean, I would have chopped it up, and that's why I was like, man, I'm just gonna call him the Viking, man, because
there
it's
you
definitely a tongue twister. But the Viking, bro. Let me ask you, where did the nickname come from, man? Who gave you that?
go. Actually, my gym gave it to me. So I'm kind of into the Viking folklore and all that, but they didn't know that. So I started going to the gym, and nobody could remember my name. But anytime someone would talk about me, they'd ask or refer to me as the Viking.
Oh, okay, okay.
So it kind of once I heard that, and it kind of was like, okay, it's stuck.
You
So
see, they probably couldn't pronounce your last name either, like myself,
yeah,
man. They were like, man, let's just call him the Viking, bro. Like, get it over with, man. But man, I mean, of course, your amateur MMA debut, man. I mean, besides combat, I mean, have you been involved with combat sports, man, or is this the first time?
well, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for over a year, and I also wrestled in high school. I did some boxing,
Oh,
so a little bit here and there. But this is my first full contact sporting event, I should say. So
okay, okay. And of course, I mean, everybody, even to the pro leagues, man. Everybody's like, man, you always get nervous. You're out there. No matter how many times you fight, you always get anxious. I mean, a lot of it has to do with being probably over anxious. But for yourself, man, I mean, have you kind of prepped yourself? Have you kind of already talked to some of your teammates that have competed to kind of on what to do and what not to do as far as leading up to the fight?
yeah, so I do have it in my gym. I have a lot of guys that have fought in MMA. They fought with Fury, so they've all been in the cage and they know how it feels and all that. And I've done 7 jiu-jitsu competitions this year,
Okay.
so I've gotten to that point where I know what it feels like and I know how it feels to be nervous, and it's kind of like it's the same. I go onto the mat and I'm nervous the whole week before, and touch the mat, and as soon as I touch the person, it's gone. Everything gets quiet, and I'm in my zone. So
Nice,
that never
man.
fails. It could be doing 7, 8 matches, and every single match that day, I'll be nervous up until we clinch up or we touch or whatever it is.
No, no, for sure. Because one of the things I was going to ask you when it comes to wrestling, I mean, did you compete? Were you out there wrestling was it middle school or high school?
It was high school. Yeah, I competed. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, and the same thing, right? I mean, walk on the mat, and it's like, okay, all eyes on you, right?
Yeah, exactly. Especially for wrestling, because you're the only match going on. So everybody is watching you. Everybody's, critiquing every little thing you do. So yeah, for sure.
You see, man. Now, of course, when it comes to training, I mean, of course, you were already used to the rigorous, workouts when it came to wrestling, boxing. Did it change? I mean, I know it's a different sport as far as like now it's like full contact, but I mean, did it change as far as staying motivated or keeping yourself like on point?
Motivations got better actually. I've been wanting
Nice.
to be an MMA fighter my entire life. So ever since I was able to start watching UFC, I've been watching it and wanting to do it, and started going to this gym. And 2, 3 months in, my coach Justin Barker over there at Strong Arm BJJ was just like, "Hey, you need to get in the cage." So we've just been training this whole time with jujitsu and doing our MMA classes, and yeah, I'm ready. I'm stoked.
Nice, man. And of course, man. I mean, when it comes to cutting weight, I mean, of course, wrestling. You guys are doing that pretty much every. I think during competition, they say you guys do that like that same day when it
Yeah,
comes
so
to
you
tournaments.
yeah, the weigh-ins for tournaments are same day. So you cut weight, but it's not as extreme as it is for like jiu-jitsu or it is for MMA, because you at least have a day, you know.
Right.
So, but yeah, no, I cut weight through high school while I was doing wrestling, and I've cut weight for almost all of my jiu-jitsu competitions. So I have that under my belt, and I kind of know how to do it and what not to do. I've done a lot of things that you don't want to do that I did, but we've kind of figured out a plan to where I have a healthy weight cut for this fight.
You see, bro, and of course, how many pounds are you cutting for this fight? Let me ask you that.
We're doing about 10%, so
Okay.
10% to get down to 205.
Oh, nice, man. And you don't mind me asking, what's your walk around weight?
Walk around between 223 and 226.
Oh, okay, that's not too bad.
No.
Man. Now, dieting, I mean, did it change? Were you like, okay, you know what, I'm going to lay off the carbs, I'm going to eat more, you know?
Yeah, for the week before, yeah, you definitely cut carbs, cut sugars, but fight camp, you don't want to. You're trying to keep that body fueled. You're doing, training twice, 3 times a week, if not more. So you definitely want to keep your carbs in there, because if you do, you just kill yourself by the end of the day.
No, definitely, bro. Now, and I gotta ask you, bro, because when it comes to combat sports, I mean, your family, your friends already knew you were wrestling. They knew you were into boxing. When you told them you were gonna compete in MMA, I mean, what's the first thing they told you, man? What did the parents say?
My mom said that she's like, you've been talking about it your whole life, so it's good that you're doing it. Like, she's like, I'm proud that you're actually doing something that you've wanted to do forever. So everybody's. Nice, yeah, everyone, all my friends and all my family was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, being around you makes sense that this is something you want to do. You want to get in a cage and get punched in the face for a living. Like, that makes sense. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, sure, man. I thought you were gonna say a lot of times, like the parents, when it comes to mom and dad, everybody's like, oh, mom don't want to see it. She don't want to be there. Are your parents gonna be there? Let me ask you that.
No, my parents are not going to be there. They, my mother lives in Tennessee, and my dad lives even further. So. Yeah. They're not going to be there, but no, they're the exact opposite. They want me to do it. They were standing on the edge of their seats in every wrestling match I did, and they were yelling at competitors while I was wrestling them. And so, yeah, they're 100% supportive of any kind of contact sport, especially this. So.
Man, well, that's good to hear, man. I mean, I'm definitely, when it comes to parents, I mean, of course, safety first, all around, where coaches, the state, everybody's involved. But, the fact that they're actually like, okay, you know what, it's something that you have been talking about for a couple of years, and now you're going to do it, man. So that's pretty freaking awesome, man. Let me ask you, bro, because on this, I'm going to post up the flyer, man. I mean, of course, when it comes to competition, not just in MMA, but jiu-jitsu as well. I mean, sponsorships, they help, when it comes to staying ready, getting ready, stacking, protein, getting your nutrients, bro. So, I mean, what sponsors are you looking for, man? Is there a company out there that you're kind of like, hey, you know what, I can use this? I mean, are you looking for product, or what exactly are you looking for?
Anything, man. Anything. Product, freaking equipment, money, it doesn't matter. Anything and everything helps. And I have a few supporters already, and it's been a blessing for them to all, put their faith in me. So anyone that gives anything, it surprises me. Every time someone's like, hey, I want to help out, I'm like, why? Like, what do you mean you want to help out? Like, I put it out there because that's what everyone does, but I didn't expect people to actually want to help, and support as much as they have. So it's incredible.
Oh, cool. Heck yeah, dude. And I'm sure, I mean, your friends, your family, everybody, teammates, everybody involved is willing to help. So that's actually pretty cool, Now, of course, man, this is going to be your amateur MMA debut. Like I stated earlier, when it comes to the fight game, I mean, I'm a fan of the amateur fights, bro. I mean, whether the guy's got 1 fight, 5 fights, and a lot of times it's kind of like a tester. You go in there and you get to try out what you want to try. I mean, of course, you don't want to put yourself in danger, but a lot of times you don't know what's going to happen until the bell rings, and so you gotta get used to your coaches, giving you instructions. You gotta get used to being aware as far as like how much time you have and all that. So it's all that kind of like, okay, you know what, you've done wrestling, you've done the whole time thing to where, jiu-jitsu, the same thing. You got to look at the clock, see where you're at in points. Has there ever been an issue for you, like during tournaments, to like be able to hear your instructors or coaches?
There's no, I wouldn't say. I'd say my coach is pretty vocal and pretty loud, and make sure that his voice I'm hearing. So,
Yeah.
and then there's been a couple times where I've been in a jiu-jitsu match and he's yelling at me, "Hey, do this, do this, do this," and I look at him and I'm like, "I'm trying, like I'm trying to do it." Yeah, but
You're like, what do you think I'm doing, man?
yeah, exactly.
No, well, that's cool, man. I mean, especially, I mean, your coaches. I mean, like I said, they're training with you. They're putting you to training. They're gonna know exactly like how you're gonna react or try to, see what obstacles are gonna be in your way and for you to get out of them, man. So that's pretty cool. Now, being a wrestler, man, are you already like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go for the takedown. Use the your wrestling background, of course.
Yeah, we have a few game plans in place, but the number one goal of all of our game plans is to get in there, get out quickly, and take as least amount of damage as possible.
No, no, for
Yeah.
sure, man.
There's
Definitely.
a lot of gyms around here that not a lot, but a few that train to go in there and stand and bang and take punches. And we are the exact opposite. We don't want to stand in front of somebody that's just going to throw their hands, and I'm not going to stand there and just throw my hands for no reason. There's a game plan. We're going to
Make 'em
stick to
count.
it and in and out.
Nice. No, well, for sure, man. I mean, of course, that's one of the things I always, when it comes to, fights. I've been doing this for years, bro, and a lot of the coaches now, when it comes to gyms, a lot of them were amateur fighters at one point. That's how long I've been in this game. But one of the things is always safety. It's like, man, I mean, especially when two people I know are gonna fight, and I'm like, I hate watching that. Because I'm there, and I'm like, dude, I know this guy, I know this guy. Someone's gonna win, someone's got to lose. But I always just hope, irregardless, man. I just hope there's no damage. Everybody can go home. They don't have to go to the hospital, or you know what I mean. Like, so for sure, I mean, the least damage, makes sense, man. Get in there and your game plans. Like I said, I didn't mean to throw it out there. I mean, being a wrestler, I'm sure your opponent already thinks you're gonna, or hey, he's gonna go for a takedown. But it's gonna happen. I mean, of course, come fight night, we'll see what to expect, man.
Yeah, I want him to prepare for everything.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
want him to be as best prepared as possible because I'm going to be my top preparedness for this fight. So,
And
I want
then
him
and I
to
gotta ask you
do
because on
everything.
this one, and it's not to knock the guy, but I saw it and I said, man, you're fighting Don Fry, bro. What's going on, man?
Yeah, that's what
That's
everyone
bad.
says. Yeah, it's the South Texas Don Fry. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
bro. And I saw it, and of course, I'm not knocking the guy. He's got that stash, man. So more power to him. But I saw it, and I had to like do a double take. My vision's pretty bad, so I said, man, is that Don Fry? But that's pretty cool, though, man. I mean, of course, one of the things with a mustache, I mean, he's gonna give you a target, so you're gonna know where to throw punches, right?
Yeah, yeah. Everyone, all my friends have said that I'm going in there and fighting two people, fighting him and the mustache.
There
So
you go, man. Yeah, no, dude, definitely, bro. But man, I mean, of course, I mean, outside of this, man, I mean, what is it that you do, man? You're off time. I mean, you home chilling, you skateboard, you surf, or what goes on at home?
no, literally, I work and train, and that's it.
Oh,
And the little bit of time in between, a little bit of time that I have off or after class is spent at home with my girlfriend and her kid, and that's it.
that's
But
it.
yeah, most of the time I work 40 hours a week, and then I spend over 20 hours a week in the gym. So
Oh yeah.
between that and sleeping, there isn't much to do after that. But that's what I
No,
signed up for, and that's what I love. I love it. I wouldn't trade it for a single day.
that's awesome. I mean, of course. I mean, I'm sure she's supporting you, man, and the fact that she does that, understands that you got to go out there and train. But I mean, yeah, you owe it to her to go home and spend time with her and the kid, man. I mean, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
But how does she feel about the fight, man?
Um, she doesn't seem like she's too bothered by it. It's just kind of like the same as my jujitsu competitions. She doesn't want to see me get hurt. Obviously, she doesn't want to see me hurt somebody else. But she doesn't, and she's a nurse, so she's seen everything and anything
Oh
under the
man.
sun. So whatever is going to happen in that cage, she sees every single day way worse at work. So
And of course, when it comes to jiu-jitsu tournaments, bro, I mean, did you have a go-to, man? Is there something that, or whatever they give you as far as
yeah, it's
submission?
what every time I've gotten on the mat, I have my arsenal of things that I like to do
Yeah.
and things that I can do, but I go off of their energy. As soon as I lock up with them or I touch them or I start watching them, and I'm like, okay, this is their game. So now I can do these different submissions or I can go for these different things, and this is where I'll excel in. This is what they're probably not good at. So, but it goes all off of your opponent. If you go in there with one game plan, and that's your only game plan that you prepared for, you're going to lose.
Yeah, man.
Now you have nothing to fall back on.
Yeah, bro. You see, and it early in the fight game. I mean, like I said, I've been doing this for years, man. I mean, I think in like 2000 was when the MMA scene started kind of coming on the up and up here in Texas, bro. And one of the things, of course, the times have changed. I mean, a lot of people have cross trained, and it's not just one art form versus another. But one of the things. I mean, even I think it was like 5-6 years ago, I was still going to fights, and I would still see that, and I'd be like, man, this guy's like going in with striking and no grappling or no, and I'm like, damn, it's just kind of, it seemed surreal, because people are like, oh man, I don't need to. I've got good hands. I don't have to worry about wrestling, but. In a fight, anything can happen, man. I mean, whether they take you down or you both guys just clench and trip and fall and boom, game over, man.
Exactly. Anything can happen. We have a saying that my coach Corey says: you strike into your wrestling and you wrestle into your jiu-jitsu.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah. So
did he come up with that?
Probably. He comes up with a bunch of things. He has all these little special sayings that he tells us.
That makes sense, man. It took me a second, but I was like, you know what? It's definitely the transition. You see, and that's another key word too, bro. Because a lot of times, when I've been in so many fighting events, but a lot of times you can kind of tell that the fighter themselves they haven't transitioned yet. You can tell. I mean, they don't go from wrestling smoothly into boxing and it's shopping, and of course that's one of the things once you get used to it, you're like, man, it's like second nature, muscle memory. But yeah, dude, that's I'm gonna have to remind myself on that one. Start quoting the guy, man. I like that. and of course, man, let me ask you, music walk out, man. What are you thinking? What are you gonna walk out to, or do we have to watch the fight?
So I picked a song. I want to keep it under wraps, just so when people hear it, they're just like, okay, this is the same, but it's shocking and it's loud and it's angry. So
damn, nice.
Out there with the aggressive energy for sure.
And I was going to ask you about that, man. I mean, music. I mean, of course, it changes the mood. You want to mellow out, you listen to something mellow. Is that the same thing for you, or can you kind of like listen to something mellow and go into freaking beast mode, man?
So I actually, I tell myself, or I say that that I'm very good and I do very well inside of chaos. Yeah. So when there's music, metal music or any kind of really hardcore music, I kind of like settle into it and I can kind of like flow as into like someone would be distracted or it would change their emotion. I can kind of just chill out in it. And I've been listening to hardcore and heavy metal my entire life. So it kind of find a nice smooth spot and just flow. Yeah.
Nice, bro. And as far as hardcore music, man, I mean, local, I mean, Corpus Christi, right? I mean, I've been out there for a few shows, years back, but I mean, I was very much involved with the scene at one point, man. But when it came to punk rock and hardcore music, man, that was always my forte. So can definitely dig that, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
And of course, man, training. I mean, you said you work 40 hours, you train part-time. I mean, of course, 20 plus hours a week. What does it consist of, bro? I mean, of course, you come from wrestling, so are you kind of like, you know what, I'm good with my wrestling, let me work on my stand-up, or do you just kind of mix it all up?
We do everything. So I'm in a jiu-jitsu class at least once a day, if not twice, wrestling class, MMA class, boxing class, all of it, and work on everything. Because I don't want to think that, okay, no, I'm good at this one spot and focus on something else and not be prepared for everything. So Fight Camp includes everything that we can think of, training everything, all of it, all at once.
Sweet, bro. And I know the Corpus Christi guys, man. I mean, I've known these guys for years. Like I said, a lot of them, they were amateur fighters when I was first covering the sports, but now they're gym owners and, doing great things. So, of course, I mean, I'm here in San Antonio. A lot of them, this was their second home. They used to come here. They used to fight here so much, bro, that I was like, man, I should just move here, right? But, I mean, Victoria is kind of the same thing, right? I mean, Corpus Christi, it's along the Gulf Coast, so it's not too far from home.
No, it's nice that this event's close. Because Fury fights out of San Antonio and they fight out of Houston a lot, and so it's a lot closer than trying to go all the way up to Houston and do all your weight cuts. So it's it's a good little trek up to Victoria, and I have friends and they have family out there, so it's like a second home out there basically. So
No, no, for sure, man. Like I said, I love the guys out there, man. I mean, all over Texas, bro. Like I've made a lot of good friends and acquaintances when it comes to the fight game. And I always tell people I love it because it's like for me going to the fights. I even see people from San Antonio I haven't seen in a while. It's just it's crazy, but it's like a little mini reunion. So it's a lot of camaraderie. Of course, the fight game. It's all business, but after the fights, everybody hangs out and just everybody's cool, man.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Now, of course, man, yourself. I mean, you said that going through life, people weren't surprised as far as you being wanting to do MMA. But I mean, were you involved? I mean, of course, you had wrestling, but I mean, did you get in any fights like during school, or was that something you were kind of like, hey, I'm busy training and doing everything else?
No, I never really got into too many schoolyard fights, as you say. I was pretty much the bigger kid for most of the time that I was in school. So, and I'm from Florida, so being a big kid out there is like being a big kid in South Texas. If you're tall, not too many people mess with you. Yeah. So I never had any. And I was always friends with everybody. I didn't have a certain friend group, so I just bounced between every single little clique, as you say.
Yeah.
All of the different little facets of middle school and high school. So I never had any queries, and I'm just an overall really friendly person. So
you see, man, and when does that change? That's kind of where I was asking that, because of course, I mean, when it comes to competition, I mean, it's a whole different animal. I mean, when it comes to wrestling, of course, you're shaking hands and then you get on the mat and it's like boom. I mean, is it like a switch for you?
Yeah, it's definitely a switch. Sometimes it's hard to come off the mat and not still be in that mode and try to interact with like my girlfriend or my coaches or whoever else is there watching or whatever, because they kind of like, okay, who is this person? Like, you're acting different. So it's definitely a switch. Once I get on the mat and we start, that's it. A light switch hits and I turn into the Viking. So
there you go, bro. And of course, I mean, I'm sure you're looking to keep this name, right? I mean, I don't think anybody, as far as MMA fights, I haven't heard that in a while. So
yeah, no, I haven't heard anybody, at least in the professional realm,
right,
with the name the Viking, and it's staying. So
nice, man. I like that, bro. And of course, man, when it comes to sponsors, I mean, we're talking about some of the options that they have when it comes to sponsorship. I mean, the shirt itself. I mean, are you gonna have a Viking on there somewhere?
No, there's not gonna be a Viking on the shirt. It'll say the Viking on the back. My name will be across the front, and it's gonna say the Viking across the back, and then all the sponsors will be under it. So
nice. And of course, I mean, when it comes to sponsorship too, I mean, of course they're gonna get their logo on there, but I mean, they also get that social media feed. You can plug them in, you can talk about the product, I mean, their services. So, I mean, for those out there, I mean, Corpus Christi, right? I mean, they can just reach out to you personally. I mean, where can they hit you up at?
Yeah, me personally, you can hit me up on my Facebook, either my personal Facebook or my fight page Facebook. You can reach me at my Instagram, the Viking BJJ on Instagram. So either one works for me. Just hit me up, give me a message. Anything and everything's appreciated. So
no, definitely, man. And of course, you said you were from Florida. I mean, born in Florida. So when did you move here to Texas?
I moved to Texas about 4 years ago now.
Oh, okay. Well, you recent. I thought you were here for like 10 years or so. But
no.
Where about in Florida? Let me ask you that.
Cape Coral, Florida. It's about 2 hours south of Tampa.
Yes, bro. I used to live in Sarasota.
Oh, okay, perfect.
From there, we moved to Siesta Key, and then we ended up living in Venice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I used to go to the East Coast all the time.
Yeah. No, yeah. You see, one of the things, I mean, back then when I first got there, it was I think we were going to the store, and I told my sister, it was like, this is like back in the late 90s, I think. But I told my sister, I was like, hey, let's go. And they're like, oh, they're closed. And I'm like, hey, well, let's go over here. And they're like, oh, they closed. And I'm like, it's like 8:30. And she's like, it's a retirement town. Like, everything closes early.
Oh, yeah.
And so that blew my mind. I was like, man, that was like a rude awakening. I had to get to the time change. But of course, I mean, Florida, great state, man. I mean, Venice, once we settled in Venice, Florida, the beach was like 4 blocks away. And, You know, loved it, man. I love to swim. So
Yeah, I love the beach. I've lived next to the beach my entire life, with living in Florida, and when I was stationed in Virginia,
yeah.
it was by the water, and now living here by the water, and I can't get away from it. I love it.
No. Well, let me ask you this, because the reason I was asking with that too was because we're supposed to get a cold front Monday. So it's supposed to be like Arctic cold, and how are you going to deal with that, man? I mean, being up from Florida, man, are you already used to the cold weather? I mean, I don't know if you guys get it that much down there. I mean, here it's like sporadically, I guess.
Yeah, no, I'm not ready for the cold. I don't do well in the cold. It's gonna be a me staying inside the entire time. So you bundled
Oh
up,
yeah,
got Netflix on or something, and we're gonna be inside. So
inside it'll be nice and warm, man.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
You see, and that's one of the things, because I mean we've been hit before. I think we had like a bad maybe like 2-3 years ago, man, when they actually Arctic uh, hit, and like people lost their power. There was no power,
yeah,
like freaking all over the city, man. It was pretty ugly. A lot of people have passed away, unfortunately, man. It was a big old mess ordeal. So I'm hoping this weekend isn't too bad. You know, Sunday supposed to get here, and then of course, you know, Monday into Tuesday. So we'll see, man. Like I said, I started a new job, so I'm not trying to take too many days off. Like I
yeah,
said.
yeah. It
But
shouldn't. Hopefully, it's not as bad as last time. But
no, no, no. Let's hope not. But of course, man, Florida. You say you don't surf. You, of course, swimming. But I mean, body surf, nothing like that.
no, I definitely did a fair share of surfing. Being on the West Coast, you don't really get surf until a hurricane comes,
Oh
and you
yeah.
don't really want to be out there in the hurricane. But going to the East Coast, did a little bit of surfing. It's still not too big, nothing like being in California or anything, or
Oh no,
even
yeah, for
over
sure,
here.
man.
Over here's surf is way better than it is where I'm from. So
Oh, okay, okay. I was gonna ask if it was different, but I mean, it is better though.
yeah, for sure, it's better. You mean you don't have to here. You don't have to wait for a hurricane to come. You can still get 4 or 5 inch or 4 or 5 foot swells here on
Right.
a just like a little stormy day. So it's better here for sure.
No, no, for sure, man. And of course, man. As far as the fight itself, I mean, they are going to be streaming it. So I mean, where can your friends, family, fans watch you?
So they haven't put out the stream yet, or who they're
Okay.
going to be streaming it through. They are going to be streaming it for sure, but they haven't put out the streaming platform that they're using. But if I were to guess, it would be on Rise Fight Championships web on their Facebook page.
No, yeah, they'll be posting
For
the link.
sure, it'll be live on their Facebook page. So we'll just see what they put out with who they're going to be streaming through.
Nice. No, I mean, I'll definitely keep up with that too, because I was trying to find the link. I mean, of course, man. I mean, this is your amateur MMA debut. We had talked about where about you'd be on the card. Do you have a preference? Are you kind of like, hey, put me first, let me get it over with, or I mean, what are you thinking?
Wherever they want to put me is fine. I don't. I did a competition in Dallas, a jiu-jitsu competition, and I sat on the edge of a mat for 2+ hours waiting for my
Damn.
first match. So the waiting doesn't bother me. Just wherever they want to put me, I'm happy to be there. If they want me to put the first one out there, that's good. If they want me to put it in the middle, second to last, third to last, whatever it is, I don't care.
They want you to fight twice, the same, right? No, I'm
Yeah,
just
exactly. Yeah,
put
bring
me
some down
second
from the
last,
crowd. We're good to go. Yeah, let's
we'll
go.
run it. You see, man, and that's funny. I said that because like back in the day when the fight game was starting off, I mean, a lot of times guys would fight twice, you know, but it was a open hand. I mean, it was before they allowed close fists, so everything was
Oh
back
yeah,
there. Corpus, I mean, we used to go out there a lot to compete, and McAllen and Rio Grande Valley. But yeah, man, it was crazy, man. It was just crazy times. I mean, of course, the commission got involved, and now that's a no-no, you know.
yeah.
But that'd be
Bellator
tough.
still does a. It's not open to anybody, but they still do a gauntlet style
Yeah.
fighting championship where you can be there and you can have 4 fights in one day.
Oh yes,
So
bro. Doing the old school tournament style, man. That's
yeah,
crazy, man. I was a fan of that. I mean, growing up, watching the fights in the beginning. My only thing was, especially in Brazil, man, they used to have those Brazilian Vale Tudo fights, and they get so cut up. I mean, it was bare knuckles that they couldn't make it. They win, but they still couldn't make it into the second, into the finals. And I was like, oh man, it's kind of where gloves started coming in, and everybody's like, man,
yeah,
you know
for
what?
sure.
Save face and be able to compete and actually win, the championship or whatever was being held. But of course, man, I mean, I'm sure you've seen all these fights coming up. I mean, when it comes to bare knuckle, I mean, boxing, they got a Muay Thai with bronze gloves now, one championship.
Yep.
Is MMA kind of like where you're trying to keep it, or are you going to eventually start venturing into other things?
No, I would like to stay MMA as long as possible. I mean, we're in the beginning, so this is where I'm going to be until nobody wants me anymore, and then maybe I'll switch to
Yeah,
something
I
else.
was gonna say, so you fought everybody, and it's like, well, I guess I'm trying something else, man. So
Yeah, maybe I'll go over there to bare knuckle and fight with the UFC veterans that are over there.
I know, yeah, sure. It'll probably be what was it? Nate Diaz. I know that somebody had posted something that he was fighting Game Bread, and I mean, I don't know. It's probably a rumor. Who knows, man? I'll find out. I just started reading up on it, but we'll
Yeah,
see.
if Nate Diaz stepped in there, that'd be a crazy fight. Bare knuckle with Nate Diaz would be
bro.
wild.
I mean, it's one of those that I would want to see, but I personally wouldn't want to. I mean, the guy's got so much scar tissue, man. Like, he'd probably bleed easy. I don't know. It'd be a mess. They'd probably stop it just from him bleeding or something, dude. I mean, obviously the guy can fight, but we'll see, man. We'll see what comes of it. Now, of course, man. I mean, being a wrestler, man. I mean, did you ever try to get into or thought about getting into like pro wrestling?
You mean as in like WWE?
Right.
Yeah, no, I did actually. I looked into it, and it was pretty cool, but I just didn't the business side of it and the acting side of it, and being told, okay, this is your character, didn't really suit me. Yeah. I've never been a great person to, hey, this is what you're going to do. I've never been good at someone telling me you're going to do this and not giving me a reason. They're just saying like, oh, because I want you to. And that doesn't fly with me. You gotta give me something. Give me some kind of freedom in this. But,
I mean, definitely, man, and that's one of the things I've read too. With a lot of the wrestlers saying, I mean, they go to WWE or WCW and they don't know what the hell, what gimmick they're gonna give them, and a lot of times out of spite, man, they give you some crappy freaking, something that's just doesn't work and it ruins you. So yeah, man. I mean, when it comes to that, for sure, bro. I mean, I'm sure like many in the fight game, I mean, that have transitioned over to pro wrestling, but once they know you and you build yourself up, then you kind of stick with it. So the Viking would definitely fit, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that'd be maybe on my bucket list of things.
Yeah, man.
Once I become a
big. They're owned by the same company now. UFC.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, even better. Yeah,
UFC,
not, WWE is all the same now. So
the check comes from the same company, man.
Yeah. That'd be cool to get in there and maybe wrestle or get beat up by a wrestler in there. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, should probably still be Brock Lesnar. Who knows, man?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But man, I mean, of course, all these teammates, man. Who's out there? I'm sure everybody's getting involved in helping you. But who are some of the people that have actually been pushing you to progress?
Coach Justin's been phenomenal. He's been pushing me since I've been there since I was there for 2-3 months. He's like, okay, you're getting to the cage. So Coach Justin, James Ramon. He was on your show a few episodes ago. He's been a really big help in this fight camp. His family, the Ramones, Sylvester, they've all been great. Coach Corey has been a fantastic person to have on my team, pushing us through. So,
no, that's cool, man. I mean, of course, like I said, I mean, the whole when you go out there, you're going to be representing your gym, of course, but your city and yourself, man. So it's no pressure, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
man. But let me ask you, of course, when it comes to sponsors, you said you already had a few people. I mean, is this companies or just individuals? I mean, is there anybody out there you want to thank?
Yeah, no. I got a sponsor a few days ago from Santa Fe Chiropractic over here in Corpus Christi. I'm so grateful. They offer wonderful services. Their chiropractic adjustments, their massage therapy, it's phenomenal. I've been going there for a couple months now, and my back is in better shape than it's ever been in my entire life. So for them to support me is phenomenal.
Oh yeah, dude. I've had a chiropractor. I think he goes to the therapy, and that man, they do wonders, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Felt taller every time, but I mean, they kind of sold me on the whole. I think when I was actually teaching at one point, and one of my students was a chiropractor, this guy from Florida, and he was like, yeah, I kept telling them, man, my elbow's been bothering me. We're gonna go over this move, and he says, oh, your elbow? He's like, on your stomach, let me see your back, and he's just like like he said, man, he said, think of it like this. You know, he set me up, and I was like, damn, you know what? Like, what you do? And he said, man, your vertebrae is like a fuse box. If one goes out, you got to find out where the troubleshoot's going. And I was like, damn, like I had never thought about it that way, but it makes sense, you know, because it's all your nervous system, bro. So if something's off, then you know your knee hurts, your back, you know, your neck. So it's just, but yeah, I mean, definitely, you know, if they're out there in Corpus, man, go hit those people up, dude, because I'm sure they can set everybody straight, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Also, shout out to Bella Styles. She's my hair girl. She has braided my hair for every single jiu-jitsu match that I've had, and amazing work. Never had a complaint about how my hair looked, for sure. And that's kind of where we're playing into the Viking, where they're Viking braids that I get. So for sure,
yeah.
they're the best, for sure. And she it's a barber over at Courtesy Barbershop over here in Corpus Christi.
Sweet, man. And is that it as far as businesses?
Yeah, so yeah, that's all the business I have so far, for sure.
No, cool, man. But of course, and I was gonna say they never complained about your hair before and after the fight, right? So it's still looking good, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
My man. Well, I do thank you, bro. Thank you for jumping on this, bro. I wanted to kind of, you know, plug you in and talk about this, you know, event coming up. Of course, it's going to be for the Rice promotion. It's going to be the beginning, the first event. You're making your amateur debut, so of course, you know, like I said, both you guys are going to be in there, not knowing what to expect. But you know, being a fight fan, of course, man. You know, I'm grateful. I'm glad that these, you know, platforms are coming up and giving you guys opportunity because, you know, a lot of times, you know, the fight cards get full and, you know, so many people want to compete and there's nowhere to go. So here we go, man. Rice FC.
For sure. Thanks for having me on, man. This was huge opportunity for me to be on here. When I saw that you wanted me to be on here, I was like, me? Like,
yeah, man.
Yeah, like that's crazy. So this is really great opportunity to kind of spread to other people that I might not be able to touch with my social media, like that I'm fighting and all this great stuff. So thank you, man.
Really vice versa, bro. I mean, vice versa, because it's a media, but it works both ways. You know, that's one of the things why, even from the get go, like back when I first started doing this, it was like plugging in the guys making their debut, the guys in the prelims, the guy, you know, because for me, it's like, you know what, a lot of times we didn't know, if, you know, they didn't even know if it's something they just wanted to do one time, and that was it, you know. So for me to get footage, get photos, get, you know, stuff that they can keep, and you know, I never sold my stuff, man. It's one of my things. I always just like, hey, man, take it. You know, it's always, I personally always felt like, man, you guys are sacrificing so much. You know, at least I could do is put something up there and you guys can keep it and take it with you, you know. So,
yeah,
so I appreciate you guys doing this, man, men and women, bro. I mean, you guys are crazy for stepping in there, but yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
No, well, of course, man. The Viking, everybody out there, of course, you know, it's going to be making his amateur debut. It's going to be for the Rice FC promotion in Victoria, Texas, of course, right?
Yes, sir. Victoria, Texas.
There you go. Everybody, stay tuned. Plug him in. Go to the promotion. Follow him on social media. This is Spider, the Fight Card Podcast. Don't hang up yet, bro. Till next time. Follow up.